What is going on, you guys? It is another episode of the Sci-Fly Zone where the multiverse meets a seventh inning stretch. It's your boys Trent and CJ, and today's destination is taking us back to Marvel. We're going to be talking about the character known as Ghost Rider, the character that everyone has been wondering, why hasn't he been in anything Marvel recently? Well, we're going to answer that question, and we're going to figure out a way how he can work into the rebooted Marvel Cinematic Universe, because Ghost Rider is such an awesome character, man.
Yeah, he really is. He's a fan favorite for sure, and it's been a while since we've seen him, unfortunately. It's a shame that Marvel hasn't really done anything with him within the last several years. We got some ideas on how they can do it, and maybe they could copy off of us and bring him into the MCU this way.
Yeah, honestly, take our ideas. I don't care. We got good ones. But what's interesting about today is that Ghost Rider has had multiple people take up the mantle. So CJ and I are going to be discussing Johnny Blaze and Robbie Reyes. I will be handling the honor of Johnny, and CJ will be handling the honor of Robbie. And we're going to be first discussing some ways he could be introduced into the MCU moving forward, and how that could look like in some of the interactions that could happen during that point as well. And then after that, we'll also be discussing some specific characters that we would love to see Ghost Rider interact with in the rebooted MCU. So let's get right into it. To start us off, I actually have an origin movie for Ghost Rider. And this origin movie is going to play like an Anakin Skywalker fall from grace kind of movie, because Johnny Blaze's comic origin story reveals him making a deal with Mephisto to save his foster father from death, only for the father to die anyway shortly after the deal was made, leaving Johnny Blaze with new powers that he only got because he wanted to save the one person that he cared about. Who does that sound a lot like, CJ?
That sure sounds a lot like Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. But yeah, this deal just leaves Johnny bound by nothing but anger and penance for those who dare cross him as the Ghost Rider. So this movie will see him riding around the world on his bike, going on a killing spree, kind of like the beginning of the Deadpool movies, except it's going to be during the later third of the movie, as the other parts of the movie are going to be kind of figuring out who Johnny is as a person, and then setting up the situation for him to have that fall from grace, just trying to move beyond the pain and disfigurement that he feels when he is riding as Ghost Rider, ridding the world of others who do inflict the world with pain, but also dealing with the betrayal that Mephisto dealt Johnny by saying, hey, I'll save your foster father if you become Ghost Rider, but then he's still gonna die anyway. Like, there's so much there, and eventually Ghost Rider is just gonna realize, hey, I need to do more than just killing bad people, because I cannot let Mephisto just wrong me like this. So why stop there? Let's make this whole thing a fucking trilogy. Mephisto's going to be the overarching villain of the trilogy, and he doesn't want to listen to Mephisto anymore. He wants to take Mephisto down. So while this origin movie is going to be more of an emotional deep dive into Ghost Rider and honing in on how the spirit of Zarathos, who is the source of Ghost Rider's power, changes who he is as a person, kind of like the dark side does to Anakin. But then the second movie is going to be a lot more action and adventure based. And the second movie is going to be a team up between Ghost Rider, Hellstrom, the son of Mephisto, and Doctor Strange.
Ooh, wow, that is really intriguing.
So Ghost Rider and Hellstrom are going to develop a close friendship, since they both understand the manipulation and pain of Mephisto, as well as what the realm of hell can inflict upon a person. So they're trying to figure out how to get back to the realm that Mephisto lives in to take him down, but he's cut off access to them. So that's why they go to Doctor Strange, so he can figure out how to get in there, open a portal, or find a portal, whatnot. They need Strange's help. So along the way, they run into a mind-altered Peter Parker, sent by Mephisto, who has been missing since the end of Avengers Secret Wars. Because at the end of Secret Wars, and I'm just saying, like, if Secret Wars were to happen this way, then this whole Ghost Rider thing would be possible. But at the end of Secret Wars in this universe, Peter makes a deal with Mephisto to bring back Aunt May for her to live a full, healthy life in the new quote unquote rebooted MCU universe, because there is going to be some sort of reset that happens. So he makes a deal with Mephisto so that Aunt May can relive a full life, so that he can kind of redeem himself from not being able to stop the Goblin from killing her. And in exchange for her life, he will be an agent of Mephisto and will be wearing the Venom symbiote suit to enhance his powers during this time. And that's who they run into.
Wow. Man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So the whole issue here is that Doctor Strange, he wants to send Peter Venom Parker back wherever the hell he came from, because he feels that this is not Peter Parker anymore. This is a symbiote enhanced, demon enchanted, non-punch pulling Spider-Man. And he's too dangerous to be left alive, you know, to go back to the Star Wars themes.
He's too dangerous to be left alive.
But Ghost Rider and Hellstrom know the pain and torture of hell, and they don't think Peter deserves to be sent back there, you know, because if he fails his mission on taking down everyone because he's been sent by Mephisto, then Mephisto will surely take that power from him, or worse, you know, just say, hey, Aunt May's gone now. Sorry, you're done. Like, the stakes are too high for Peter to just be sent back to Mephisto and fail. So Strange is obviously still thinking about the multiverse, as he always does, you know, like the greater good, what the universe needs. So this is where we get a complex fight between Ghost Rider and Hellstrom versus Doctor Strange versus symbiote Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's going to be fighting all three of them, and Ghost Rider and Hellstrom are going to have to play defense versus Peter, while also stopping Strange from trying to send off Peter or killing him, and also having to try to play offense on Doctor Strange as well. I think like this would be a top 3 fight scene of the year.
Yeah, I mean, just like imagining that in your head sounds so cool, dude. We could see Strange like duplicate himself over and over again, like he did against Thanos. Just 20 Stranges versus Peter, Hellstrom, and Ghost Rider. I mean, man, yeah, there's so many cool possibilities with that fight.
Yeah, dude, yeah, it would be so cool. But the movie would end with Hellstrom dying at the hands of symbiote enhanced Peter Parker during a time when Strange actually could have helped Hellstrom survive, but he didn't. And while Peter takes Hellstrom's life, Strange sends both Peter and Hellstrom's corpse back to hell. So now Ghost Rider asks Strange, like, whoa, you had access to hell this whole time? What are we doing? Why did you help us find the portal? Or, you know, or if you had access to the portal the whole time, what the hell's going on? Because it was Mephisto the whole time. It was never a Doctor Strange team up. Doctor Strange was simply there to be a manipulation, because as soon as Mephisto found out that Hellstrom was working with Ghost Rider, he channeled all of his energy into the most believable illusion and manipulated them into working with Strange to get them set up with Peter, because they knew that they would try to have sympathy for the hell-stricken individual no matter the threat that he poses. So now Mephisto leaves with Peter, dead Hellstrom, and Ghost Rider, who has a fate worse than death, a life with purpose that was never his own, no friends. Now it's time for him to take the power back in the third movie.
Wow. Damn, dude, that's good. That's a really cool twist. I like that a lot. That would get some awesome reactions in the theater. Those videos go viral. You see people reacting to Marvel movies in the theaters. That would be one of those moments. That would be such a cool twist, dude.
Yeah, dude. To get a guy like Benedict Cumberbatch to like do a pretty big role for most of the movie, for it to just not even be him at all the whole time.
Yeah, and you could get him playing like a different side of Strange too, like maybe drop some hints of like that it is Mephisto, and like, I mean, yeah, that seems like that's totally something Mephisto would do too. That totally seems like in his character.
Yeah, dude. And also, like, this would really prove that Mephisto is legit.
Yeah, yes, yeah, that would absolutely establish him as a huge threat.
Yeah, and to go back to the Star Wars themes again, I mean, this is totally Luke Skywalker doing the illusion to Kylo Ren at The Last Jedi, but, you know, flipping the morality of it.
Yeah, almost like Chancellor Palpatine, like, reveal that he is evil the whole time, except it was Strange has been, everyone's just been manipulated. It's been Mephisto the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. So This third movie will see Ghost Rider searching the cosmos for a very powerful being to help him take down Mephisto. That will be Galactus, of course.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Ghost Rider will use his pen and stare to convince Galactus to help Ghost Rider take on Mephisto. And we can also adapt the storyline where Mephisto is in possession of the Silver Surfer's soul. The body is gone, but Ghost Rider knows of a place that the soul can be revived that he found during his search for Galactus. So that way they both have stakes in the story and have it where Galactus needs Ghost Rider's help locating Mephisto, and Ghost Rider needs Galactus's raw power to actually manage taking down Mephisto. Like it works in tandem.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't really have a middle of the movie. They just eventually get to Mephisto and they beat Mephisto. Symbiote Peter obviously is still out and about kicking around, but against Galactus is just going to quickly subdue him. Like, yes, Symbiote Spider-Man is very powerful, but it's Galactus, man. You know what I mean? So you got to put some respect on Galactus's name. So it'll be a quick fight. It'll kind of be like Hulk versus Thanos. Like Hulk got some licks in at first, but then Thanos was like, okay, we're done here.
Then he stopped playing around.
Yeah. So Galactus doesn't kill him. He just subdues him. And then Mephisto gets killed. So then Peter gets freed from being the symbiote and under Mephisto's manipulation. So now, because of all that, Peter gets to, go back and do his own thing on Earth. And also, just gets to rehabilitate with society, like kind of in a similar way how Hulk was gone on Ragnarok for a long while in space. Then he comes back to Earth, try and rebuild his life again.
Yeah, man, I really like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And then the final Marvel thing for this movie, because, we got to have one final cool reveal to end the movie off, keep us watching. So remember how Ghost Rider said to Galactus, we can bring back the Silver Surfer if we figure this out. So Ghost Rider guides Galactus all the way to the home planet of the Sovereign, the creators of the one who holds the Soul Stone in Marvel Comics, Adam Warlock.
Wow.
The one who can revive the Silver Surfer. And it's how we get the Infinity Stones back in the rebooted MCU. And it's an overall dark but redemptive trilogy that spans the 9 realms. And it'll make $3 billion.
Seriously, dude. That's awesome. I love that. That is a really good story. I mean, just like the fall from grace, like you mentioned, his Anakin arc, essentially, and then coming back, his redemption story, not fixing everything, but like his redemption story and all of that. That would be so cool. I mean, it would make $3 billion from me alone. I would watch that movie 15 times the opening weekend.
Thank you.
I mean, yeah, that's so cool. I love the Ghost Rider and Hellstrom relationship that you have in there, because they both have experiences with Mephisto. They both have that relationship. They know about his manipulation, like you mentioned, and that will be expressed later on with the fact that he's been manipulating them the whole time, thinking that it's been Doctor Strange. I love that. I love the addition of the symbiote Spider-Man. I really want him to be in that black suit, and this would be a really cool way to introduce that. And the twist of like Adam Warlock coming into it as well, bringing the Soul Stone back and the Infinity Stones in general. I really want them to bring back the Infinity Stones at some point. I know that like we've kind of had the Infinity Saga, and then Loki kind of changed the way that we look at the Infinity Stones. But in the new rebooted version, the Infinity Stones could absolutely be a huge part of the saga, and this would be a great way to introduce that.
Yeah, and because the Infinity Stones only work in the universe that they originate from, and since the TVA exists in a place outside of time and space, the Infinity Stones' power is kind of nullified, which is a crazy concept, but it kind of makes sense. And also, they also established that TVA has power nullifiers as well. So that's crazy tech, which I really hope Avengers Doomsday does kind of address a little bit, that the TVA does have access to that kind of power nullification, and that I wonder if someone will try to siphon that technology and use it elsewhere.
I wonder. We'll see. Yeah, man, that's a great trilogy. I love that.
Hell yeah. So Robbie Reyes, tell us what's going on with him.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, we both picked different Ghost Rider characters for here. I did go with Robbie Reyes. The way that I would want this introduced is after Secret Wars, after the reboot, we have this new clean slate universe. Essentially, maybe everybody being in the same universe from what the rumors say. So this would start off with Robbie and his brother Gabe just going on a nighttime joyride, driving through the city, and then unexpectedly, a car in the other lane swerves and hits the passenger side door. Bad car crash, not looking good. We cut to Robbie waking up in a hospital. He's bruised, he's cut up, but he is nowhere near in as bad shape as Gabe is, his brother. His brother is laying next to him in a hospital bed of his own, and Robbie just woke up, so he doesn't know how bad of a condition Gabe is in right now. He doesn't know. It seems like he's in a coma. He's not really responding to anything. So Robbie's freaking out. He's calling for a doctor. He's wanting someone to come in and talk to him, tell him what's going on. And instead of a doctor in a white coat walking in, a man in a black suit walks in instead. Robbie asks him, "Who the hell are you?" And the man responds, "I'm just someone that could change the course of your life forever." That's it. That's all.
That's fine.
Oh, by the way, you look kind of hungry. Would you like a slice of pizza? And then he hands him a slice of pizza.
So really quick, Mephisto's pizza is like Fresca in The Boys.
Want a fresca? Thanks.
Would you like a fresca?
Thank you. Would you like a fresca?
Fresco? No, thank you. Awful stuff.
It really is, yeah. Yeah, he walks in with a slice of pizza and a fresca. Pick one or the other. And which universe are you going to go with?
Yeah.
So Robbie reluctantly takes the pizza. He looks at it. He looks at the man for a bit. And then he takes a bite, sort of symbolizing that he has at least some amount of trust in this man. I mean, he's the first person that he's seen since he woke up from this car crash. He doesn't know what else he's supposed to do right now. He knows how bad of a shape his brother is in. He thinks maybe this man can help him somehow. And Mephisto says to him, "I can fix all of this if you want. I can make things better. I can make you better. I can make your brother better. But you got to help me in return. I will take all your pain away from you and your brother if you let me inflict you with the spirit of vengeance and you become an agent of mine and you do as I say. And I want you to go out and hunt down all of the evildoers in the world, everyone who has done harm to someone else who was not worthy of it. And I want you to start with the man who did this to you and your brother." So Robbie hesitates. He's reluctant. He doesn't want to go down this path.
I like that Mephisto points him in a specific direction. Like, he doesn't just say, like, "Hey, here's the powers, have fun." He says, "No, I'm giving you the powers, but you got to start with him."
Yes, absolutely. So he reluctantly agrees, and he realizes he just can't really pass up this opportunity because he doesn't know how badly Gabe is hurt right now. He hasn't gotten an update. He hasn't even talked to a doctor yet. So this is kind of the only man that he really has any connection to right now, and the only man who can do anything to help him in a situation, at least. So Robbie agrees to let Mephisto possess him with the spirit of vengeance and go out and do exactly what Mephisto wants him to do. He is going to go and he's going to bring the bad men before him. He's going to bring them to Mephisto and let him do what he needs to do. So it's Robbie not wanting to go down this evil path and not wanting, he knows that something's up, obviously, at this point with this man, because he wants him to capture, kidnap people and bring them to the devil of the MCU. And Robbie reluctantly agrees because he sees it as the only way for his brother to come back and for him and his brother's lives to go back to normal, at least from what he believes. So I don't exactly have like a movie script of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think that this is how I would want him to essentially get the powers of the spirit of vengeance, doing a bad thing for a good cause, essentially, how he's viewing it. He knows that he has to do bad things, but he's doing it in order to protect his brother, you know?
Yeah, like, this is how, like, if Robbie Reyes were to be brought in, this is how you'd want the ball to start rolling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's how I would want him to get the powers. There are 3 characters in particular that I would really like him to interact with.
Yeah.
The first character that I want him to interact with is Matthew Murdock. I think that now Ghost Rider is a much more cosmic entity than Matt.
Dude, that is so genius. That is so genius. I mean, who better to get a perspective on the devil than an agent of the devil?
Exactly.
Especially someone who also doesn't actually like the devil all that much either.
Yeah, seriously.
As much as they embrace the devil, they don't like the devil. And
Right.
dude, that's genius.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think that Ghost Rider could like confront Matt with that, because we've seen in previous seasons of Daredevil, like Matt has a conflicting relationship with the devil. He even going as so far as to the point where he tries to completely separate himself from the life of Matthew Murdock and just be the devil of Hell's Kitchen. He just fully embraces Daredevil, doesn't want to be Matt at all. And I think Ghost Rider could give him an interesting perspective on this. Like, hey, I know, and obviously, if Matt wasn't a fan of Frank Castle's methods of getting vengeance, he is not going to be a fan of Ghost Rider's methods of getting vengeance as well. Even though I think that he will have an understanding of why Ghost Rider is doing this. He'll know, like Robbie will tell him about his backstory, why he's in this position, and Matt will give him a little bit of lenience, but he's still not going to like how he does it, you know? And Ghost Rider could essentially say to him, hey, I know you say that you don't approve of what I do and you're not a fan of my methods, but I think you are. And I think you wish you could do what I do, but you can't bring yourself to do it. Essentially, sort of a similar relationship that he would have with Frank, except just on a more cosmic scale, you know?
Yeah, and also like someone like Ghost Rider who is imbued with cosmic knowledge like that actually has a bit more authorization and justification for making a claim like that compared to Frank, who is, pun not intended, hell-bent on revenge and justice. So someone like Ghost Rider has a bit more authority to actually, you know, say like, I can do this.
Yeah, 100%. And if Matt disagrees with him and says, no, you can't do this, what's Matt going to do? There's not really much he could do, probably, like 1v1 against someone with cosmic powers that Ghost Rider does. Mm-hmm. So I think that would be a really interesting test of character for Matt. I also think that Matt Murdock's character, like obviously Daredevil's one of the best characters in Marvel shows, Marvel TV that we've seen, but I think he gets even more elevated when he's sharing the screen or sharing a scene with someone with similar intentions, but is just more brutal than he is. Like obviously his relationship with Frank, his relationship with Elektra, and what Kingpin is able to bring out of him. I think that Ghost Rider would be able to see this in him and try to channel it for good, in a way, mm-hmm. In order to work together and kind of bring out that more brutal side of him that Frank has been trying to do for so long.
Yeah, also, interesting thing, I think we could also do the inverse. I think in a way we could get Matt Murdock to get Ghost Rider to not be so lethal and actually say, hey, you got that penance stare. What if you and me just work together? You know, you use the penance stare, make them reflect, and then, you know, let me bring them in. You know, I'll handle the court case and everything, make sure it goes well, but you can help me actually get them into the courtroom.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it would work so well. Like the dynamic that they would have with Ghost Rider being the one like bringing them into justice, and then Matt being the one inflicting the justice on them, getting them locked up behind bars.
It's perfect.
And it's perfect, right? And also, like, I mean, we can get a great scene with Ghost Rider penance staring Matt and just like making him reflect on everything that he has done in the past, everything he's wanted to do in the past, and everything that he hasn't let himself do.
That Foggy Nelson flashback would be so painful to watch.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and that could be like the moment that gets Matt to be like, okay, fine, okay, we can do it your way. We'll do what you want to do. And I just think that the two of them could have some really great interactions together.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anyone who seeks penance, it is Matt Murdock.
Yes, yeah, he's desperate. Yeah, literally. And I mean, his relationship with his religion in the past and fighting against the devil and trying to go towards God, to working with someone who made a deal with the devil. Like, I mean, it just, an agent of the devil and the devil of Hell's Kitchen. I think it works out so well.
Both working against the devil.
Yes, exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So that is my first interaction that I would like to see. The second one I would like to see is Ghost Rider and Agatha Harkness. What I think is really interesting about Agatha Harkness is her show was the first time that we actually got a verbal reference to Mephisto.
Did you know she traded her own child for the Book of the Damned? They say no one really knows what happened to him. They say he might be dead. Others say he might be a demon or an agent of Mephisto.
We had seen like kind of clues here and there. People have been theorizing, oh, is this Mephisto? Is this a reference to Mephisto? But in Agatha, they just said it outright. They said Mephisto. They just said his name, okay? And people believe that Agatha gave up her son in order to obtain the Book of the Damned. And if we're going by the Robbie Reyes that I've established earlier, I think that he would have a huge issue with Agatha doing this because, yeah, they both made deals with Mephisto, but they made the deals for very different reasons. Robbie made the deal in order to protect his brother because he felt that that was his only opportunity to save his brother. And Agatha made a deal with the devil, giving up her loved one so that she could gain more power. And I think that Robbie would very much not like this at all. I think that he would see her as a bad person for doing this, understandably, coming from where he's coming from. So I think that they could both have really interesting perspectives on Mephisto and why they're doing what they're doing, the selfish reasons that they're doing it, and for the not selfish reasons why they're doing it. And I think that they could both give really interesting perspectives on why they made the decision that they did. And I think that they could have some really cool fight scenes. I think that a final battle between Agatha and Ghost Rider would be really awesome. I think Ghost Rider trying to get Agatha to atone for her sins, trying to bring her to Mephisto, and Agatha essentially trying to delay the inevitable of like actually facing the repercussions of what she's done, I think could be really interesting. And it was great when we got Mephisto introduced in the MCU. Obviously, he was mentioned in Agatha all along, and we saw him actually in person and at the end of Ironheart, but we haven't really gotten much else from him. He's kind of been sort of on the back burner. He might show up in Doomsday or Secret Wars. I think that'd be great. But I want him to have more to do with people's like actual individual stories. And I want him to kind of like how you had your trilogy, like he was the main overarching villain of the story. I want Mephisto to be like that. I want his presence to create conflict between people. And I want him, just his existence alone, to get people to struggle and fight and disagree with each other, even regardless of how similar they are, because like I mentioned earlier, they both made deals with Mephisto just for very different reasons. So I think that Ghost Rider trying to get Agatha to actually pay for what she's done would be really, really cool. And I mean, Ghost Rider versus Ghost Agatha, I think it also kind of makes sense. I just think it'd be really great to see.
Mm-hmm. Question. So since this is the rebooted MCU, would the Agatha story happen again, or would Agatha live on through the reboot and then Robbie learns about what happened with what she did like later on down the line? So yeah. How does that all factor in?
Yeah, I think it would be the same Agatha that we have now going to the next phase. I think she would probably find a way to get through Secret Wars. I mean, her being a ghost, she would probably have some leeway here and there. She would find, I mean, it's also Agatha. She finds ways to manipulate and to survive how she will. And I mean, we could get some great stuff with Agatha and Wiccan and some of the other Young Avengers in Doomsday or in Secret Wars. So I think it would be great to see like her character develop through Secret Wars and into the next phase, and it being that same Agatha from this phase. Yeah. And then Robbie ends up finding out about that, maybe from Mephisto telling him and sort of painting her out to be the biggest bad that there is. Mm-hmm. Kind of like manipulating him into thinking that it's like what he's doing is right. But I think Agatha could try to do what she can to plead her case and make him understand why she did what she did. But I think he would just be blinded by not only what Mephisto tells him about her, but also just knowing that the position that he is in now and what he had to do to get there and why he did it, as like obviously to save his brother, compared to her situation and why she did what she did to be where she is now.
Yeah. So who's your last character for Robbie?
My last character is going to be, going back into the Daredevil universe, it's going to be Frank Castle's Punisher. If Matt Murdock was extremely hesitant and reluctant to team up with Ghost Rider, I think Frank Castle would be the complete opposite. I think he would be very enthusiastic to team up with Ghost Rider. They both have similar, I mean, they're both seeking vengeance. They want to, I think that they could instigate each other or like make each other even more intense than they already are, if that's even possible for Frank, because he is one of the most intense characters in the MCU. But if he has someone like encouraging him and egging him on to do this even more, I think that would unlock a whole other side of Frank as well. Also, in the comics, Frank Castle is the one who becomes Cosmic Ghost Rider later on in the future. So I think that we could get some cool lines, like kind of foreshadowing or teasing that what could happen there. Maybe Ghost Rider be like, "Hey, if things ever get a little bit hairy, I know a guy that would probably be a big fan of yours, and he could probably help you out with something." He could basically tell him about Mephisto, tell him about all these like just expand his horizon on what is actually possible, because Frank Castle obviously wants to bring vengeance to people who do bad, but it's kind of only in New York. He doesn't really have access to all of the cosmic entities that Mephisto and Ghost Rider know about. So if Frank were to know about all of these other beings in the multiverse in need of vengeance and repentance and punishment, then I think that Frank's eyes would widen as big as the sun, seeing how many different people that he could bring to justice and what Ghost Rider could bring out of Frank Castle and what Frank can bring out of Ghost Rider would be really, really cool to see. And I think a team up between them could be awesome.
Yeah, and also it would be cool down the line if, you know, as opposed to Frank Castle being given the option of Cosmic Ghost Rider as a secondary and fairly manipulative option to death, he can instead take it up because he knew of the previous Ghost Rider, and he like, you know what, I don't want someone else to be burdened with this. I can take on this burden and do it pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. He would see himself as like one of the best fits for this, because he probably would be one of the best fits for this. I mean, he doesn't really have much to lose at this point. If you think about it, he's kind of, in his mind, he's kind of lost everything at this point. That's what led him to snap and led him to become the Punisher that he is today. So if he really is able to embrace that side of him, if he is able to embrace the Cosmic Ghost Rider and kind of put all the earthly Frank Castle stuff behind him, kind of like what Matt was trying to do with getting rid of Matthew Murdock and just being Daredevil, I think a similar thing could happen with Punisher and just completely taking on the role of Cosmic Ghost Rider, because he is one of the best fit to do so.
Yeah, I totally agree. One of the guys that I thought would be cool for my Johnny Blaze take on the character would be Blade. It kind of exists in its own little microcosm of the MCU. It's still on the same timeline, but like a little demon enchanted vampire hunting movie. And, you know, they don't know who's behind the spells or where these vampire people, demon things are coming from. But it's someone in the shadows, and, you know, it can set up some stuff with Midnight Suns and stuff with Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange would be a pretty fun interaction, too, with Ghost Rider.
Yeah, that would be really cool. People have been wanting Blade for so long. I mean, we've talked about it in previous videos. The handling of Blade has been really unfortunate, and there's so much potential there, and they just seemingly can't find a way to make it work. But yeah, I mean, a team up between Blade and Ghost Rider would be so cool. Leading into Midnight Suns, like you mentioned, would be awesome. People have been wanting that for so long. And I like how you are bringing up Doctor Strange again, because a team up between them would be awesome. Obviously, like Doctor Strange doing the spells with Ghost Rider at his side. But also, it's interesting because in one of the comics, Ghost Rider actually kills Doctor Strange. So I think there could be some cool parallels to that story. Maybe not like directly referencing, or not, maybe not directly taking from that story, but like referencing some things that happen in the comics for the nerds to really understand. I think that could be, I think a Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider team up could be so cool.
Yeah, I totally agree. The visuals would be super sick. But to finish off the video here, the last guy that I got would be Wolverine.
How long I've been waiting for this.
Just seeing them both in leather jackets, riding in motorcycles, and, you know, talking about being wronged by somebody and receiving powers that they wish they never had, but still trying to make the most of it. Like, that's a buddy cop movie right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they have some parallels to their characters for sure that I haven't really thought about, but the two of them together would be so cool.
Yeah, like imagine a scene where Ghost Rider Pennant stares somebody, and while they're distracted and feeling the pain that they've inflicted on other people, Wolverine walks up behind the guy and stabs him with his claws. So like they're both using their powers to take down evil in a way.
Yeah, that would be such a cool collab. Yeah, and similarly, the visuals for that team up could be so awesome.
Yeah. So that is our Ghost Rider video. If you guys have any other characters that you would want us to cover, break down, and and what you would want us to discuss with them, if it's a Wolverine video, how would we do Wolverine in the rebooted MCU? Or is he gonna be in Doomsday? And if so, how's he gonna be in Doomsday? Stuff like that. Or same thing with Toby's Spider-Man. Is he gonna be in Doomsday? He's gonna be in Doomsday. But we could do stuff like that. And we also do DC videos. And we also do baseball videos. So if you want to take a swing in the comments, I promise we'll catch the ball and we will make the video. So don't worry about it. Nice. So yeah, this has been the Sci-Fi Zone where the multiverse meets the seventh inning stretch, and we hope to see you on the next video. Peace.